Special thanks to Godzilla Boy for suggesting this video and for his incredible persistence as well. Double F in the comments section, please.
They knew he would come, as he always had, as he always will, to feast on the blood of the wicked. The Doom Slayer sought to end the dominion of the Dark Realm. Despair spread before him like a plague, striking fear into the Shadow Dwellers, driving them to deeper and darker pits. His power grew, swift and unrelenting.
The Dark Souls universe is one of the most unfair places for both the player and the chosen undead, and sometimes people tend to misunderstand just how powerful some of the characters inside Dark Souls are. Lord Gwyn is literally a god, and Gravelord Nito is the god of the dead, who can kill anything with its miasma. The Doom Slayer, the chosen induced testosterone metalhead versus the Dark Souls universe and the Abyss. My name is Midnight, and today I'm going to analyze the Doom Slayer in the Dark Souls universe completely and see if the Doom Slayer could survive inside the Dark Souls universe. Let's go! Follow me on Twitter, Instagram and on Twitch and join the Discord server. You will not regret it. For the Dark Souls universe, I want to do something very special. The Dark Souls series is one of the most beloved games of all time. The story is so good that you have millions of people subscribe to channels for one reason alone: its lore. So for this video and probably future ones, I am going to talk about one Dark Souls game per video, and in today's video we're going to talk about Dark Souls 1. And the reason for that is because in terms of lore, Dark Souls 1 has the most powerful creatures in all of the games. Lord Gwyn, Nito, Seath, the Scaleless, the Bed of Chaos and all of its demons, the Abyss, and of course Manus, the father of the Abyss. I am planning to do a part 2 on this video because the amount of information inside the Dark Souls universe is insane, and I want to cover as much as possible, so smash like if you want to, leave a comment on who is your favorite boss, and let's do this. The lore behind Dark Souls is very confusing. From Software created a game where much of the story is revolved only in speculation, so I'm just going to stick with the facts that we do know about the game. Coming out right at the beginning of the concept of time existed the Age of Ancients, ginormous arched trees that connected seemingly one world to another, and of course the almighty everlasting dragons. But at some point on the Age of Ancients, fire was created, and with it, humanity and the souls of the lords. Gwyn acquired the soul of light, Nito the soul of death, Seath the soul of life, and the forgotten pygmy, the soul of darkness. With the power of the souls, Gwyn, Nito and Seath, with the help of the Knights of the Dark Soul, waged war against the everlasting dragons, challenging their might. For a reason, the dragons were the ones on top of everything in the Age of Ancients, but the might of the Lord of Cinder, Death and Life was too much for the everlasting dragons. Seath, the Scaleless dragon, with the help of Gravelord Nito, the witch Seath and Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder, brought the everlasting dragons to near extinction. And after that, the Age of Fire began. After the Age of Fire began, life began to flourish. Amazing cities and civilizations were created. Lord Gwyn created the beautiful and amazing city of Anor Londo, the city of the gods. And all was going great for Lord Gwyn and his kingdom. But, as we know, fire cannot burn forever, and the flame that gave the Lords of Souls their power was beginning to fade. And this made every Lord of Soul anxious, because if the first flame ceases to burn, then the Age of Dark will come, giving humans who have the Dark Soul godlike powers and dethrone Gwyn from his position. The first attempt to rekindle or to copy the flame was made by the Witch of Isolate. They used a soul to recreate the flame, but at some point something went very wrong, and instead they created the Flame of Chaos. The Witch of Isolate and her daughters used every bit of her powers to subdue and control this flame, but the Flame of Chaos lived for its name and couldn't be controlled forever. When the Flame of Chaos was finally free, the Witch of Isolate and her daughters all turned into the Bed of Chaos and into despicable beasts. From the Bed of Chaos, demons were born, vile creatures that destroyed anything and everything on their way, and with that the Witch of Isolate and her daughters was no more. With this, Lord Gwyn became even more anxious. First he was worried because the flame was fading, and then he had to worry about the demons in the Bed of Chaos, so he waged war against the Flame of Chaos and its demons. He gave the humans its own city, the Ring City, which they thought they were safe because of the great walls it had. But it was the contrary. The Ring City was to contain the humans, to contain the Dark Soul. So, Gwyn flooded the city, killed all of the humans inside of it, went to the bed of the fading flame, and used himself to rekindle the flame, while placing a curse to the humans and making them undead. That is the basics of the basics things you need to know about the lore behind Dark Souls. Now that that is out of the way, let's see if the Doomslayer could survive inside the Age of Fire. Inside Anor Londo, the Ring City, Lordran, and pretty much every corner inside the Dark Souls universe, you will find yourself fighting against vile beasts. From knights, to golems, to demons, to serpents, dragons, etc. Every single creature you can think of is here, and tripled its size pretty much. So, to set the record straight, the Doomslayer will have no problem fighting against the lower minions of Dark Souls. First of all, I think his first objective will be to destroy the Flame of Chaos, because it's basically hell down there. First, inside the Flame of Chaos, there's thousands of spider-like demons, even centipede-like demons. Why make these insects bigger? Why? Anyways, the Doomslayer has the Praetor suit, which grants him the ability to resist immense amounts of fire, and which protects him from any type of attack. It is stated on the Codex entries of Doom 2016 that the Praetor suit is able to withstand any type of conventional weaponry from its time, being 50 cal bullets, shotgun shots, plasma shots, rocket launchers, you name it. So this makes the Doomslayer invulnerable to any type of physical attack from the lower minions of Dark Souls and the demons as well, because one thing is to be invulnerable to those attacks and one thing is being invulnerable to the impact of those attacks. But okay, the Bed of Chaos, or the Witch of Isolate, mainly uses fire for its attacks. We can assume that the fire she uses can be hellfire and physical attacks as well, but because the Doomslayer is invulnerable to any physical attacks and to fire as well, the Bed of Chaos will have no chance against the Slayer. The Praetor suit is able to withstand Argent Energy fireballs, which burn with the hotness of the sun. If you go to the Codex entries of Argent Energy on Doom 2016, you can see that one small amount of Argent Energy, pure Argent Energy, is able to power nuclear reactors for a year. You know how much energy you need to power a nuclear reactor? Google it. It's a lot. And the Praetor suit is able to withstand constant fireballs of Argent Energy. It is that powerful. Just try to power scale it. I'll give you that homework to you. Against the battle with the Gravelord Nito, the god of death, well, if the Doomslayer wants to kill those goddamn skeletons for good, he will need a divine sword. And it's not like he cannot get it. He is basically inside the Dark Souls universe, doing the job of the chosen undead. And remember people, do not underestimate the chosen undead. That dude is broken. First of all, he is immortal, and every time he kills a boss, he absorbs his soul and his powers. By himself, he brought down the Age of Fire. That dude is broken, but okay. Nito is basically the god of death, and his attacks really live to his name. First of all, he holds a sword that apparently seems to bend space itself, as he's able to launch an attack at you by stabbing the sword to the ground, and it doesn't matter how far you are, it will go all the way to you. His second special attack is a charged up scream that releases a toxic aura and does damage. We do not know the extent of Nito's powers, but there is a reason why everything surrounding Nito is dead. His aura, or pestilence, whatever you want to call it, kills everything that it touches. The reason why the chosen undead isn't affected by this, well, it's because he is an undead, in other words, immortal. And I think this pestilence doesn't care if the Slayer has a suit of armor or not. It's magic. The thing that saves the Slayer here is that he is immortal, and well, Nito is a pile of bones that even dragons could destroy. No match for the Slayer as well, but if we were talking about Doom Guy or a Space Marine from Warhammer 40k, or even if the Doom Slayer wasn't immortal, he would have perished against Nito, the Lord of Death. Seath, the Scaleless dragon, the Mad Duke who obtained immortality, is the dragon who sided with the Lords of Souls in their war against dragons. After the war ended, Lord Gwyn gave Seath a part of his soul and his own library, so that he could continue his research on immortality, which he eventually obtained. Seath is insanely powerful. He alone was able to defeat several scale dragons. The scale of the dragons serves as armor for them, so Seath pretty much went shirtless to war. His breath seems to summon crystals, that's why the whole area in which you find him is filled with crystals, and creatures engulfed on crystal armor as well. It doesn't matter how much damage Seath receives, he is immortal. For him to die, the Doomslayer needs to go out of his way to destroy the primordial crystal. Yes, I know that if you want to kill Seath on Dark Souls 1, you need to die first, because that's how you discover the primordial crystal, and this can only go two ways. Either the Doomslayer and Seath fight for all eternity with both of them never dying, or the Doomslayer finds the crystal, destroys it, and boom, Seath defeated. His crystal attacks seem to both stun and pierce the chosen undead, but no crystal is going to be able to pierce through the predator suit of the Slayer. And even if he gets engulfed in crystal, we're talking about a demigod who is able to overpower the most powerful demons with his biceps alone. Lord Gwyn, the Lord of Cinta, who is apparently one of the most powerful beings of the Age of Fire. Even with him giving huge amounts of his souls to his brethren, Seath and the Four Kings, Gwyn's power still remains way above than all of the other Lord's souls. People say that if the chosen undead was to fight Gwyn on his prime, he would have failed. Honestly, Gwyn is able to use lightning attacks and uses a sword filled with magical fire. He is extremely aggressive while fighting, doing all kinds of attacks, barrages, flips, etc. In terms of physical power, Gwyn is a god who brought to extinction the race of dragons. We never see just how powerful physically Gwyn is, but with him already a hollow of himself, he has the power to overpower the chosen undead with ease, throw him into the air and pretty much play with him. Even when summoning the Sombro Solaire, who is able to use lightning attacks as well, it's not enough against him. I think that if we ever got to know how powerful was Gwyn on his prime, this battle could have gotten differently. Even if Gwyn strikes the Doomslayer with his lightning attacks, he's able to withstand that amount of pain and that amount of light. Vega's score needs 2.4 terawatts of power to run. At one point, the Doomslayer pulls down some levers which are protected by an electrified field connected directly to Vega's current, and he withstanded that easily. But if Gwyn was on his prime and had his strength of a god, this battle could have gone pretty differently. Manus, the son of humanity, the father of the abyss, consumed by the burning corruption that is humanity and its endless greed. He controls one of the most influential powers out of the three other gods, the power of humanity, which in large amounts becomes an all-devouring void of darkness that chokes out the very thing humanity comes from: humans, corrupting their minds with humanity's greed and power. Manus, the pygmy who obtained a spark of the primordial flame, harnessed both the spark and humanity as his weapon, literally driving a whole world to extinction and kept the gods and dragons on their toes. Manus is the one that controls the Abyss and all of its essence. The Abyss is able to corrupt living beings and transform them into brainless mad monsters. Seer Knight Artorias, my baby, which was said that he had an unbendable will, got his mind and soul corrupted by the Abyss. The Abyss corrupts living beings into their very core. Manus and the Abyss were so powerful that even all of the soul gods and the dragons escaped in fear on its presence. It is the single reason why life was drove to near extinction. The Abyss, or humanity's corruption, is no joke. Manus controls the Abyss and has bathed into its dark power. He is able to use dark sorceries to attack the chosen undead. There is no doubt that the Doomslayer would be able to subdue Manus, but what is dangerous here is that the Manus can use the Abyss to corrupt the soul of the Slayer. But as we already know, the Doomslayer is incorruptible. The only reason why the Slayer was blessed by the Seraphim was because his soul was pure and will never be corrupted. But this is not the end. The Doomslayer is protecting humanity from hell in his universe, and here, humanity is what can drive him to his doom. Ironic. 4 kings, having the soul of Lord Gwyn and tainted by the powers of the Abyss, have the powers to drain the humanity of people or living beings. Humanity is just a concept, so ask yourself, what makes us humans? I think that raw emotion is what makes us human. Love, hate, despair, anger, empathy, you name it. The Doomslayer is indeed human in nature, although he is from another dimension. One of my favorite, this is irrelevant for the Doomslayer, but one of my favorite Halo videos of all time is why the Arbiter is the most human character in Halo 2 by Late Night Gaming. You get my point. The Arbiter is not human, but it's human in heart. If the 4 kings ever get hold of the Doomslayer, his humanity could be drained completely, turning him hollow. They wouldn't be able to kill the Doomslayer, but they will turn him hollow, a mad monster, and there is no way he can defend from that. Of course, that is just if the 4 kings ever get a hold of him. And the Doomslayer is a demigod who can run to incredible speeds and has amazing reflexes. But okay, could the Doomslayer survive inside the Dark Souls universe? Yes. Just don't make him go to the 4 kings, please. And so, okay, Spartans, please leave a comment down below what you think about this video. Leave a like if you did and leave a dislike if you didn't. As you guys can tell, I am very, very sleepy and I'm so tired because this video drained my soul, literally drained all of my vitality now, and I want to go to sleep right now. But I know that if you compare the From Software games, Bloodborne has even more powerful beings inside of it, like the Moonlight Presence, German the Old Hunter, and pretty much there's a lot of monsters in Bloodborne that are very, very powerful. So I want to do a video on Bloodborne in the future. So smash like if you like this video so that you can support the channel and give me more vitality to do more videos. And yes, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and on Twitch. All the links are down below. Join the Discord server. And okay, Spartans, that is all for today. If you guys like the video, slap a like on it. I will greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye, take care, and I love you very, very much. Thank you for watching, Spartans. I really do appreciate it. Oh, 50 minutos, que eso es un chorro.